Welcome back. Murder suspect Luigi Mangione returns to court later this morning on what is day 7 of a hearing centered on the use of certain evidence in his upcoming trial. Yesterday, attorneys focused on the search of Mangione's backpack when he was arrested at a McDonald's out in Pennsylvania. The 27-year-old is accused of fatally shooting United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan about a year ago. He has pleaded not guilty. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has been in the courtroom covering this case. She joins us now to bring us up to speed from what you've just seen and heard. Katrina, welcome back. Good to see you. Tell us more about the backpack, which you mentioned earlier in the week, but we're getting more specifics about why it's now a point of contention.
Errol, the backpack is key to these hearings that we're having to begin with because they found some very potentially damning items in that backpack. There was a 3D printed gun, a silencer, a loaded magazine. Yesterday, we heard testimony from 2 supervisors who were on the scene. One was the highest ranking officer there. They both believe that it was justified to search that backpack without a warrant. What the defense says is that that was in violation of Luigi Mangione's constitutional right. So that's really a core issue that we're addressing here.
And it would be significant if the entire backpack gets thrown out because of that, as far as evidence.
Yes.
But you also heard additional testimony from a police officer who was calling 911 in relation to what was unfolding. What did that reveal?
That's right. So we heard this officer, he was the lieutenant who was going to the scene, and when he heard that potentially they might have the New York shooter at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, he realized he would need to get in touch with the NYPD. So he literally called the local 911 operator, Errol, to let them know. And he called her, he said, we might have the New York shooter. And she says, excuse me? Just, I think, surprised that this would be potentially in Altoona, Pennsylvania. He ends up giving her some information. At the time, they had that New Jersey ID information where he had identified himself as Mark Rosario, so he shared all of that, went to the McDonald's, made sure that he had been patted down. She said someone would call him back. I don't believe that happened, but once they had Mangione in custody, he reached out again to the NYPD to let them know that. And ultimately, they ended up coming to Altoona, Pennsylvania, and they were in constant contact after that, it sounded like. But it's also worth noting, Errol, even this lieutenant said when he heard that first 911 call from the McDonald's, he thought it was preposterous that someone had done this shooting in Midtown Manhattan and ended up 5 hours away in little Altoona, Pennsylvania. He's the same person we talked about a while ago, but he made this joking bet with one of the officers there. He said, I'll buy you a hoagie if you get the New York shooter, because he thought it was so unlikely that was going to happen.
That's fascinating. And I know you'll continue to be in the courtroom for more hearings. Katrina, thank you very much.